The best way to identify with the one-of-a-kind culture, history and challenges of favelas in Rio de Janeiro is by living in them. I go off the beaten track in the most fascinating community, trying to discover how they use the culture of hip-hop, breaking, MCing, graffiti to preserve their history and express their dreams and ambitions.
Sou artista de favela porque sou resistência aqui.
And then I try to get an understanding of how Sydney uses his unique martial art as a form of resistance in the favela today.
I mean, I'm Sowetan, man, you know, I'm used to...
I'm Philip Malepa from Soweto, South Africa. I've come to Brazil, one of the most up-and-coming countries in the world today, but I've seen it is also fraught with inequalities. I've taken up residence in a place where few dare to go, the slums or favelas of Rio. I want to find out how the people live there, so it's important for me to fit in like a local or carioca. Will the community accept me, a guy from the Township? I've been shown around by a social activist, my new best friend, Sydney Tataruga.
Now I'm eager to learn more about this place. Where do the poor from the favelas and the rich living close to the beachfront meet? Where does the social integration happen?
Yes, na praia.
And what do they do there?
Pô, nós somos brasileiros, a gente joga futebol.
I'm halfway through my stay and late to go meet Sydney. I can't come and go like I do in Soweto. These people are house proud and keen to make me feel at home. Breakfast is pamonia, steamed corn pudding cooked in a mealie leaf. A very far cry from my gota and chips. I'm off to meet Sydney in Josinia, a favela in Rio's South Zone. This is City of God territory.
Ever since I arrived here in Rio de Janeiro, I've noticed lots of graffiti on the walls. I soon got to learn that graffiti is a way that the young people here use to kind of preserve the history, to tell their history, all right? I'm now interested in exploring another form of hip-hop, the spoken word, the MCing part of hip-hop. I mean, Sydney's organizing a meet with one of the hottest rappers here in Brazil. He goes by the name of Will.
La puta madre, la puta madre.
I want to find out how he uses hip-hop and his talent to get his message across to the favelas and the world.
Pra mim, cresci na favela, coisas que nenhum filho de ninguém que tenha muito dinheiro teve. Os fatores culturais, a liberdade para ser criança, entendeu? O lado ruim é a dificuldade das coisas, uma alimentação, os sonhos são sempre castrados, a violência do sistema em geral, que vem desde a escola pública, a polícia, o próprio traficante, as guerras, tudo isso é dificuldade para o menino que está na favela e qualquer menino que cresce hoje, que não mudou muita coisa. Cresci naquela coisa entre o bem e o mal, feliz e muito triste do mesmo jeito, sabe? A dificuldade que a gente tem na favela.
Velth paints a picture of a devil's bargain. On one side, there's the unique favela life that money can't buy unless you are born into it. On the other hand is the life that comes with struggle for things lots of Brazilians have access to, things like education, safety and life opportunities.
minhas músicas começaram bem particulares aos meus problemas. Mas o hip hop é uma cultura muito forte, então eu às vezes também, eu acho que muito parte dos problemas da favela é do favelado. Hoje, mas antigamente eu achava que era só do governo, entendeu? É um fator cultural, uma coisa que aí você vai falar do crime, você é obrigado a falar da polícia. Então mistura tudo, não tem como você chegar, é a minha vida, mas é o lugar em volta, é o que eu vivo, esse lugar tá a favela, aí vem o asfalto em volta, aí vem a cidade do Rio de Janeiro, aí foge para a região sudeste, daqui a pouco sai no Brasil, quando você vê está falando de América Latina, aí daqui a pouco é a América toda, daqui a pouco a Europa já reflete aqui, aí você vê está falando do mundo, num problema que está aqui, entendeu?
The favela does not only produce top soccer stars, there's dancers, artists and musicians from the favelas. People like Velf and Sydney with his capoeira, but often they get the cold shoulder from the mainstream Brazil.
Até dentro do capoeira, samba, funk, eles fizeram um subproduto para falar por nós, entendeu? É esse que aparece na televisão, não é o Sidney, o mestre, que fala pela capoeira como deveria, quando teria, quando tem, não é o Velf, não é o MC Galo dentro do funk, no próprio samba.
Os protagonistas, verdadeiros protagonistas da cultura,
não são esses
eles ficam de fora,
eles escondem.
E eles colocam tipo um artista supérfluo, só para fazer carreira em cima da cultura popular da família.
Eu uso o rap como uma arma contra o sistema que oprime o favelado, sabe? As comunidades.
O problema é igual de outra localidade, o mesmo caô e da desigualdade. Consumimos tanto quanto qualquer bairro nobre, mas insistem em dizer que a Rocinha é pobre.
I like that MC Vav speaks out for the favela, and his message is loud and clear. Like the favela, he is going nowhere, so his music will represent him, his people, and Brazil.
É o império, na bala, na porrada, na boa, na furada, nós tira a onda braba. Amigos da Al-Qaeda, a voz da favela fala, Rocinha é o império.
The movement aspect of hip-hop is called Bboying, an art that started in Brooklyn, New York, but now belongs to the rest of the world. And 300 meters from where I stay here in Katanga are one of the most happening crews, IQ Phoenix, consisting of Capu, Pedro, Bruno, and Lucio. Now these guys are ruling the B-boying world. Their combination of traditional capoeira and old-school breaking has caught the attention and respect of everyone in the hip-hop circles. B-boy Kapoor made jaws drop with his power moves when he was representing Brazil in 2010 at the World Championships in Tokyo. Now, if you thought that b-boying was incredible, take a look at this. These kids are doing passinho. It's their take on breaking, locking, and popping. They are taking breaking to new levels, and they are making the asphalt very jealous with their killer moves. For DJ and other young people in the favela, passinho has been regarded as a way up in life, a fresh, new career opportunity other than soccer and drug dealing, a ticket to get out and be seen by the world, a ticket out of poverty. Such a big fascination about the culture of the people, this piki marmir, you know, type recycling where everybody recycles something, nothing is thrown away. One guy who does such a thing is a well-respected artist, let me say, guy who's responsible for most of the graffiti pieces that you've seen here, all right? So let's go meet the guy who's responsible for all this. Akeme's work does not only tell us about the favela's history, the complexities that the people of the favela face every day is depicted in some of his work.
Is Akeme's graffiti.
What inspires you? What creatively comes to your head before painting a piece?
Bem, eu me inspiro naquilo que eu quero dizer para a sociedade, mas isso depende do local. Se eu vou pintar em bairro rico, eu penso no que eu tenho que dizer ou falar para aquelas pessoas.
So when painting here in the favelas, what comes to mind, my friend?
O que vem na minha cabeça a primeira vontade é embelezar a favela com cores. E posteriormente a esse desejo vem ao de dar o exemplo e através da arte passar uma educação, algo que eu vejo na necessidade dela.
Akemi wants the community to take an active role in caring for the favela. He recycles wood, metal and bits of plastic in his installation art to motivate others.
What inspires you to do all this recycling work?
O que me inspira neste lugar é a necessidade de sobrevivência que me faz usar o recurso do local e a motivação de ser um artista de resistência dentro da favela.
Graffiti here is the real thing, more than a guy running around tagging walls. Akemi has messages that he wants to communicate to the world.
I can tell that you sleep, breathe and eat hip-hop, you know? I mean, for me, I feel you are hip-hop, Chana. You are hip-hop.
Do rap aí, filhão.
Well, Sydney has shown me all the elements of hip-hop. Now Akemi wants to see my skills. I'm a rapper, and hear my freestyle using the spoken word, Baba. Representing Soweto. I see ya, Kaze. All right?
Two years gets fools in there. Okay, time I love Mr. What thing fools in there. I'm going to Joan in the Maria Podesta. Kambula goes in the Sapu gangster. When I was born in the old master. Oh, I was there and you witness.
I'm told that back in the day, the city fathers said the favelas should not appear on the maps as they were ugly, dangerous, and temporary. Well, not anymore. Not with MC Valve, the Bboys, and Akemi around. What the mainstream media somehow fail to report on about the favelas is the innovative way in which the Cariocas deal with everyday issues here. Sydney is taking me to a buddy that uses his legendary physical strength to provide a much-needed moving service to the rest of the favela. His name is Hercules. Get it? Hercules? These guys are crazy. The undercurrent here is that they support opposing soccer teams, Vasco and Flamengo.
Felipe, África do Sul. Veio visitar nossa comunidade aí.
Bem-vindo à nossa comunidade.
Olha que trabalha carregando pra cima. Hercules Community.
Look, I would have not messed around with Hercules if I was Sydney.
Meu nome é Roque, tenho 48 anos, cheguei aqui com 12 anos de idade. Vim aqui, meu pai tinha um comércio, mudou, apareceu, agora estou aí. Mas aqui é fazer mudança, chega com móvel das lojas, né? Aqui é 4 anos nessa luta aí, passa sol, chuva, né? Aí eu vou tocando a vidinha.
Another friend of Sydney's is the lovely Gloria Rosa. Her mother moved into the favelas at the same time as Sydney's family more than 100 years ago.
A casa era lá onde tem as casas das freiras, pegado aquele casarão lá, muito desbarracamento, caía muita água, porque nós não tínhamos nenhum desses melhoramentos que tem aqui agora. Era pisar e escorregar até embaixo.
We're moving high up the hill and it's getting more congested. I can't imagine the effort to get everything up here. To build a house, never mind everyday things like food and furniture. Hello? Add Hercules to speed dial. All the way to the top is a friend of Sydney's whose passion for plants and herbs takes priority in a place where empty space is like gold dust. This I have to see.
Well, Sydney has just introduced me to a Donna Antonia. Donna Antonia lives close to the top of the favelas. She's also a lover of gardening, a herbalist, maybe some could say.
E acostumada desde pequena com planta, né? Eu senti a necessidade de também ter as minhas plantinhas em casa. E aí é muito difícil, porque é muito alto para subir, não tem terra para você plantar. E a solução que eu busquei foi comprar a terra e buscar as mudas de plantas. Então as pessoas têm que se conscientizarem que mesmo não tendo espaço para ter uma floresta como tem lá em cima, a favela, com essa construção desordenada, vai se acabando com o verde. E o verde, ele faz falta na vida da gente.
Wow.
By now, you are ready for the plain truth. Favela residents are very proud of their community and would not consider moving elsewhere. Barismo, or community pride, is the trait that all favela dwellers seem to share. It doesn't matter where you stay, up high with millions of steps or a small little room with $1 million view. It's 8 p.m. and Sydney asked me to join him at a community center in Pavao, Pavazinho. Sydney is a capoeira master. He's been all over the world, but he prefers to be right here teaching the people of the favelas his skills.
Então a capoeira, ela é uma luta genuinamente brasileira. A gente costuma dizer que ela nasceu, engravidou na África, vindo dos negros escravizados, e nasceu no Brasil.
Sydney told me that slaves were punished for fighting, so they came up with a way of making their fights look like a dance.
A gente costuma dizer que ela é uma luta afro-brasileira. O povo lá de Angola teme em dizer que a capoeira é de Angola, mas é do Brasil, ouviu-se? E hoje ela está em mais de 180 países. O berimbau, ele é o principal instrumento da capoeira. Nome africano de origem guru. Primeiros berimbaus, ele foi feito com a tripa do carneiro. A gente usa o arame. Esse arame, ele tira do pneu do carro. Só pode ser de carro.
For Sydney, this is serious business. Transferring these skills will equip the younger generation with an understanding of whom they are as Brazilians. It develops self-pride. Yep, you guessed it, he wants me to join. When you do capoeira, it's called play. It's played in a circle.
E a roda é onde acontece o momento do jogo, né? Aonde os opostos se encontram e a capoeira é um jogo de formação. Um ataca, o outro defende. Um pergunta, o outro responde.
You know what? I can imagine the escapism the early slave ancestors found when playing capoeira to the beat of the music. Whilst learning valuable skills to defend themselves, they also stayed in touch with their African roots. Kinda similar to what is happening here today. Know who you are and where you come from.
Feel the beat, you know, the drumming, so I can feel the vibe. But this is not easy, man. It's almost like a martial art. Once he attacks, the other defends. When the other comes back and attacks, then he defends. So I get the martial art form of it. The dance as well, takes a lot of muscle.
It just had to go there, and I was waiting for it. Taking on the master? Have mercy on this Kasi boy. Hustle, please.
It's not easy, man, I tell you.
Yes, Felipe.
It's not easy.
It's very good, it's capoeira.
But it's very
Rio
fun.
de Janeiro, Morro do Katanga, Brasil.
Yeah.
South Africa. Township.
On our way home, there's a fantastic noise. Local DJs set up their turntables and showing the community what they're made of. Chucks, man, this place rocks. They're spinning the same music the Passinho kids dance to. Funky is much faster than the music I listen to. It's gonna take a while for me to get used to it. People are being welcomed home from work with a hell of a blast, bro.
DJ Niltinho, DJ Vitor, Josi DJ. So yeah, that's nice, man.
O ritmo da gosta de balançar o bumbum. O ritmo é diferente, é mais batido. Então, como ele estava falando, você quer conhecer o ritmo aqui, o nosso ritmo acelerado, nós vamos passar para você o nosso ritmo do Rio de Janeiro, da comunidade carioca, como que é o nosso ritmo. Aí você...
Let's see what we can do, but you know what I say? Enough talking, let the music play!
I'm told that funky is 100% product of the favela. Together with our own Kwaito music, it's a new genre of electronic street dance music that made it big outside North America and Europe. And just like Kwaito, it's full of sexual innuendos, silly lyrics, and repetitive music riffs. Now that I like. I also like that funky gets played at Bailey Funks. Those are massive street bashes. Voila.
No comando dos bailes.
And so another day comes to an end here in Katanga. This crowded hillside has grown on me, man. It might have been built without permission, in a place where most Cariocas thought was uninhabitable, but it's just overflowing with creativity. The arts and culture and the way the people are expressing themselves is just infectious. You can't ignore it. One just has to be a part of it.
All right.
Over my week here in the favelas of Rio, I've seen how this community carves out a vibrant life from the rocky morros that no other Carioca wants to live in. But it seems the hunger for real estate in Rio means even the stony hillside is under threat.
Qual é o problema? Com a gentrificação, você vai aumentando o preço.
I'm also in countdown mode. I want to drink in their world to the very last drop.
Não há como as favelas ficarem separadas mais.
Você, Neto, nunca desiste da sua luta por nada nesse mundo.
And at the same time, leave behind a bond of real understanding.
Por fora da calça, bico do sapato, olhando pro céu. Lá vai o malandro com a cara de cruel.
Blusão por fora da calça, bico do sapato, olhando pro céu. Lá vai o malandro com a cara de cruel.
Mas